Hey everybody, it's your favorite voice actor from Ohio, Brian Von VA here. How's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing well this December. If you are, then please tell us about how your month's been going, and if you're not, of course, feel free to vent too. With that said, DMs of Reddit, what are some interesting homebrew adventure ideas you have come up with, and what happened when it was played? Part 1. I created a campaign off of the deaths of the players. They each described their deaths and awoke in an afterlife. They met a god who spoke about the 7 gods and their 7 champions. Each god controlled a realm, and the party had to travel from realm to realm, hunting down the champions and in turn becoming a champion. Each person they hunted, their personalities matched with the 7 deadly sins. Once they were killed, they took the champion's artifact, which were magic-infused items, for each party member's class as well as their NPC, resulting in a 7 to 8 month adventure IRL of them hunting and killing 7 champions before being granted resurrection, resulting in the barbarian of the group being named the Undying, due to being slain in a gladiatorial arena and simply waking up the next day. The party was then brought together for another campaign in the Father's realm with these champions' artifacts. Each party member that got slain from then forth was given a place in their god's afterlife. They weren't referred to as gods, they were referred to as angels, and their father was a god. The angel of wealth, his afterlife was one of riches and lavish lifestyle. The angel of death, his afterlife was becoming a spirit of death, one who escorted the living to the world of the dead. The angel of love, his afterlife was of a perfect love, spending your afterlife with your soulmate, my ideal afterlife. The angel of combat, you spend your afterlife winning the favor of gods and goddesses in an arena to which they face incredible beasts and other warriors, the thrill of combat granted for eternity. The angel of life, you take on the role as a creator of life, bringing reincarnated spirits to their new mothers. The angel of nature, the afterlife was one of peace and tranquility and a haven of flourishing flora and fauna. The angel of reincarnation, with no afterlife, they were destined to be reborn again and again. And each time a player was killed, the one who killed them gained the favor of their god until slain. I remember my party loved it. My top 2 were a 3.5 edition campaign and then a 5th edition campaign, 3.5 edition. There was a starter set you could get for 3.5 edition that had some plastic minis, some pre-printed dungeon terrain cards, dice, and a starter adventure. I found a sandbox campaign which started with a dive into a pre-made dungeon. And in that dungeon was a room full of mushrooms that can kill, then grow out of the corpse and kill anyone that touches them. Rinse, repeat. The party barely managed to take samples, then proceeded to create vials of contagious, concentrated spores. There was some minor mishandling, then some deliberate infection, and the campaign became an evil campaign in which metallic dragons and other adventuring parties went behind them, burning down cities to contain the plague. 5th edition. I used the heroes of the 3.5 edition campaign I just mentioned as the villains of a 5th edition campaign. They had attempted to bring back the goddess Takisis and help her plan to assault Sigil, City of Doors. To stop them, the Lady of Pain created a snow globe universe, kind of maze, and threw Takisis and her armies into it. But the act of sending so many into it also thrust herself, some Dabusis, and some of her own loyal forces into it. Trapped, a technologically advanced society grew around the central intelligence that turned out to be the lady, who had forgotten her identity. Very quickly, and the bad guys mixed in with the good guys. However, nobody was aging and all had false memories, and when everyone started to have hints of memory, a civil war started to kick off. Unfortunately, the party had a wizard who tried to play like a melee fighter, a bard who had scheduling problems, and one of the rogues turned out to be a bit of a min-maxer who resisted participating in any of the mechanics or new features I'd written to get by in this new world. This led to a TPK in a tower against an Aurak Draconian that was supposed to be an ally, and a mix of Bozak and Boz Draconians at level 3, so I will probably edit the campaign a little and rerun it with a new party. I created a 5th edition campaign set in the Three Kingdoms period with all its historical characters and events. The players started 4 years before chaos erupts, and they have the opportunity to change the course of history. Some of the players knew the setting and characters, while others didn't, so preventing metagaming was the hardest part, as they knew which NPCs were key historical figures. So far, they've been having a blast. We're 6 months in and the players have caused so much chaos and upheaval that they have caused a completely new timeline. The best moments in the campaign, however, have been when the new players join in, specifically as villains or historical characters. The look on their faces make all the preparation worth it. I have a very specific group of friends who played everything under the sun, so I tend to throw major differences into my campaigns. My first idea that I want to play next is that the party are all getting ready to play, excuse me if I butcher this word, but Palladium, and one of them turns out to be a silver tongue who reads us all into the game itself. Basically, the players will be playing as themselves, with all their real-life abilities and skills. It will encourage them to metagame, as well as bring ideas into the game that they would not have been allowed to in a regular fantasy game. The second will be more like a series of one-shots, where there will be 2 groups of people playing as mad scientists. Each one will have its own castle and will have to come up with ways of producing cash, and creating inventions to try to destroy the other group, as well as defending themselves. Basically, anything that they can convince me should work in-game or in real life will be allowed. It will involve a lot more time out of game with their group as opposed to actual gameplay with the entire group. It's only an idea for now, but hopefully I will DM it soon. Each member of the party meets in the capital of a kingdom because they heard the king has been looking for adventurers. When the party meets the king, he explains that he is looking for the Holy Grail and is hiring adventurers to find it for him. If the party finds it for him, he will grant each party member a wish. As the party goes on the journey, they will fight others that are also looking for the Grail, as well as other enemies. The party will internally debate if whether or not it's worth it to kill possibly innocent people just to have a wish granted for them. After some time, they will find the Holy Grail, and I imagine that they will either 1. Bring it back to the king, or 2. Keep it for themselves. Option 1. If they choose to give it back to the king, he will thank them for it before kicking them out, showing his intentions with the Grail. He plans to destroy the world in order to start it anew as a god. The party will then adventure so that they can get stronger and defeat the king before he can execute his plan. Option 2. The party runs off with the Grail. The party has no prior knowledge on how to use the Grail, so they can't just be like, hee hee hee, Grail goes brrrr. After a while, the king appears personally to take back the Grail. After a fight, the party is forcibly teleported away. The party then will go on adventures to become powerful enough to defeat the king. After either of these things happen, the party returns to the kingdom to fight the king. About midway through the fight, the king uses the Grail to become almost godlike in power. The party then defeats him, saves the world, or they die painful deaths. I created a world in which the continent of the players started on was ruled by the Yuan-Ti. The party had one Yuan-Ti who was a child, and the rest of the party were children, actually. Really overpowered children. Loki had turned them into children for his amusement and dumped them on the continent. Because Yuan-Ti were the master race there, everyone else in the group pretended to be slaves of the princess. The first city they made it to, they found there was a Yuan-Ti princess in charge who recorded all royal names and verified royalty. Our warlock was proficient with a forgery kit and rolled the forged documents proving she was a princess from the Great Coil, one of the regions. He rolled a nat 20, and so it was declared telepathically by the priestess to all other priestesses on the continent that she was officially recognized as royalty. A lot of lore-related things happened after that, including encountering a Yuan-Ti lich and learning of the Sirach, the original master race. The campaign is on hold, but their most recent exploit was finding an angel, which is actually Lethander, after he sacrificed himself to save Mystria. Being the god of rebirth, he became a child again, floating in the negative energy plane, which I reintroduced into 5th edition. You see, they are actually on Aber, the mirror world to Toril, so it makes sense that some 3.5 edition things that happened before the cataclysmic events that created the 5th edition world would still exist. And sorry about butchering any pronunciation there, I really can't find anything online to show me how to pronounce those correct. Brian Von VA here, hoping every single one of you are doing just fine today. If you like today's vid, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Check out MrRipper on Twitch and Twitter, where you can watch us play games, read stories live, or just for general updates. Speaking of stories, if you want to submit one to us, you can do so on r/MrRipper, aka our subreddit. Links are in the description below. If you want to help out your local Ohio-based narrator to grow, me, you can come sub to my YouTube channel, Brian Von VA, where I make voice acting videos and stream games from time to time. Once again, I want to bring a positive message here in the form of respecting life and appreciating what you've got. Time is short and life is delicate. We have but a short time with those we love and care for, so from me to you, make the best of it, and be sure to make some love for yourself too in the process. Spend time with those you cherish and let them know how much you mean to them, as I'm sure you'll be the light in their life. Take time for yourself as well, because without you being okay, you can't be any use to anyone else you love, you know what I mean? So be safe, be happy, all the love from me to you, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.